Hello everyone and welcome to week 4 of Yoga Through the Holidays. So it's your last video. We're going to be practicing together for about half an hour. With me I have a mat, a pillow to sit on. Maybe you want two, depending on what's comfortable for you. I have some yoga blocks here and a yoga strap. You could also use, if you don't have yoga blocks, you could use like a little stool or a chair. You could use, instead of a strap, you could use a dog leash or like a belt off of a bathrobe. So there's lots of different options. We're going to start standing, so I'm just going to put this down. We'll start from focusing on our body from our head down to our toes today. So I'm starting in a comfortable spot. For me, that's a little bit wider than hips width apart, my feet. But you choose if you want them closer together, go for that. If you want them further apart, that works too. Maybe you want to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Find a comfortable place or like a neutral place for your arms to rest. And we'll breathe here. Noticing your breath. Noticing as it enters the body and as it leaves the body. What sensations do you feel? What do you notice? Noticing what your energy level is like in the body today. Are you really energetic? Are you feeling a little lethargic? As this is our 4th week, we're going to do a little bit of slower practice, more gentle. Maybe you've all gone through some stress during the holiday season. Hopefully you haven't. But if you have, hopefully this class today will help you unwind a little bit. So from here, maybe you want to think about swaying your hips from side to side. Noticing how fast you're going. Maybe lingering for a second on one side. And then switching to the opposite side. We're just bringing some movement here into the body. Maybe doing some arm circles. Maybe you want to link them to your breath. Inhaling as you go up. And exhaling as you go down. And we'll come to a neutral stance. You can sit down if you want, if you're comfortable seated or comfortable standing, whatever works. And we'll start focusing on our head and on our neck. How is that feeling today? Are there any spots where you feel like you have tension? Maybe thinking about scrunching up your face and your mouth, your nose, your eyebrows, and then releasing it. And thinking about the difference between that scrunched up state and that relaxed state. So maybe trying that again and noticing the difference in sensations that you feel. Scrunched and relaxed. Scrunched and relaxed. Maybe you want to bring one ear down to one shoulder. Noticing if you feel a sensation along the side of the neck. Maybe you want to think about tucking that chin, tucking it down towards your chest. Noticing if that changes what you feel. And an option to let your arm dangle out to the side. The arm that's in the opposite direction of where your head is facing. Wiggle those fingers. You could turn your palm. And then slowly bring your head back up to neutral. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So first ear down to shoulder. Noticing if anything feels different from one side to the other. Noticing if you feel any sensation, any stretching here in the neck. And then the option to take that chin, tuck it down towards your chest, and notice if that stretch changes. Maybe you want to bring that arm out, having it dangle, breathing here. And then slowly bring your head back up. Notice if you want to shake out your legs, if you've been standing in one spot for a while, or if you're seated and you're cross-legged, make sure you switch the cross of your legs so the other leg is on top. From here, let's bring our chin down to our chest, noticing if you feel a stretch along the back of your neck. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And from here, maybe coming back up to neutral and then taking your right ear to your right shoulder. And then going up to neutral and to the opposite side. Noticing that stretch. Coming back to center. And this time, gently, maybe holding the back of your head. Tilt your chin up towards the sky. Head back. Being very careful here. Coming back to neutral. We'll go down one more time. Looking down, chin towards chest. Looking up, and then this time, maybe you want to turn so you're facing the right. And then neutral, turn so you're facing the left. Then neutral, and then we'll do that head one back one more time if it feels okay for you. Option to bring your hand for support, tilting your head back, and then bringing your head up. You can shake out the body. We've done our head and our neck. Now we're going to focus on our arms and our shoulders. So let's raise our arms up towards the sky. Here we're in our upward salute position. Notice what's happening with your shoulders. Sometimes for me, my shoulders come up by my elbows and I have to consciously think about bringing them back down. From here, maybe you want to bring your hands just a little bit behind your ears. It might bring you into a slight back bend. Breathing here. So we're concentrating on our shoulders. Maybe our shoulder blades coming together in our upper back. Breathing here. Coming back up straight. And then we'll bring our hands down. Shake it out. This time, let's do a couple rounds of raising our arms up on our inhale, just halfway, and then exhaling them down. Think about your shoulder blades coming together when you're at the top. So inhale and exhale. We often do arm circles. You might have noticed that all the way up. That's a very different sensation than stopping in the middle and focusing on those shoulders and engaging those shoulder blades and holding your arms here. Maybe you want to try next time pausing up here at the top, seeing what that feels like to hold your arms out. It might feel like a lot, so feel free to bring your hands down at any time. Shake it out, come back into it. Maybe bring your palms forward. On our inhale, we're going to reach our arms around our body, and exhale, maybe bring your chin down towards your chest. So we're rounding our back, hugging ourselves, saying thank you, body. Thank you, me. So thank yourself for getting yourself through this holiday season, the stress and the overwhelm you might feel. And we'll open our arms up one more time. And this time, bring your opposite arm on top. So before my right arm is on top, now my left arm is on top. And we're doing that hug again and rounding those shoulders. Rounding that upper back. And then we'll let it go. Shake it out. We'll do one more shoulder movement. We'll bring our arms up again. This time think about palms facing forward. And then maybe twisting them so they face up towards the sky, forward, down to the ground, back behind you. Down to the ground, forward, and up towards the sky. Going through these, noticing if you feel a different sensation in your arms as you do this. Doing it a couple more times. And then we'll shake that out. Whew. I know, it's a little intense in the arms sometimes. All right, so from here, maybe we want to think about our torso and our mid-back. Let's raise our arms up one more time. Again, this can be done seated as well as standing. So we'll raise our arms up towards the sky. This time we'll twist our torso. If you're standing, your feet are staying, your hips and your feet are staying forward. You're going to twist your torso and your arms, and then bring your arms down. One hand is on your belly, the other arm is behind you. An option to look behind you or look forward. Whatever feels better in your neck. Then we'll raise our arms up back again. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So hips facing forward, twisting at the torso, bringing the hands down, breathing, and looking in a direction that works for you. We'll bring our hands back up to neutral. And an option to come into a seated or standing cat-cow. So what we're going to do is we're going to think about on our cow, opening up the chest, arching the spine, so you're creating that like round part in your spine. Chin maybe up towards the sky, arms down to the side. Again, you could be seated in a chair or on the ground during this as well. So this is our cow pose. So we're opening up the chest, chin maybe going up towards the sky. We're curving that spine, making that arch in the spine, and maybe feel like your belly's getting bigger, like your inhale and your belly's expanding. And as we exhale, we're going to go the opposite way, rounding our back, making like that angry cat back. Maybe your chin's coming down towards your chest. And we're feeling the opposite. We're exhaling, all the air is coming out of our bellies. And we inhale, coming into cat. Belly filling up. Exhale, rounding the spine. Arching the spine. On your inhale, rounding your spine as you exhale and let go of all of that air. You can add big arm movements, or you can keep them small down by your sides. You can also add in some cactus arms, opening them in our cow and closing them in cat. Choosing whatever arm variation works for you. Doing a couple more. All right, let's shake that out. So here we've done some movement or some stretching in our head and our neck, in our shoulders, in our upper back, our mid-back. We've done those spinal waves in cat-cow. And now we can begin doing some movement in our hips. So let's take our feet as wide as works for us. I like to take a lot of space because of my belly. And from here, we'll come down into a forward fold. So option to have blocks in front of you. I'm going to kick that pillow out of the way. And from here, we're going to hinge forward at the hips, thinking about your chest being the last thing to come down towards the ground. So you're leading from the hips, then your chest follows. Bring your hands down to blocks or to the ground, whatever feels better for you here. Option to look a little bit forward or look down between your feet. Breathing here. Breathing, feeling that sensation, noticing if you feel anything in the back line of the leg, or you feel it in your lower back, or in your hips. Maybe you want to sway from side to side, bending one knee, and then bending the opposite knee. Maybe you can hear my feet cracking. My ankles always do that. Coming back to a neutral stance if you were moving, taking a bend into that knee. We're going to raise our arms up, standing up, and then we're going to sit back, coming into a chair position. So here, our butt, it's like we're squatting back, holding this chair. You could have your hands at heart center. You could have them at your hips. You could have them up by your ears, looking forward. We're just going to take a couple breaths here, noticing where you feel sensation. And then we'll let go and we'll shake it all out. So we're working on our hips a little bit, maybe into our thighs. I'm going to move those blocks to the side for a second. We can work on raising one foot up towards the sky. I'm a little wobbly. We're going to work on balance. Think about putting all of your weight into that one foot and then gradually bringing it up. You can also tap it in front or lift it. Or if you're like me and you have a belly, maybe it feels good to lift it out towards the side instead. Doing a few of these. Maybe you want to hold a wall. Whatever works here. Just bringing some mobility into the legs. And then we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So finding that stable base in your standing foot. And then raising that foot up. So you could tap it, or you could raise it up higher. And again, if it feels better for you, you could open it. You could also get rid of that step down in between and focus on just up and down, balancing on that foot. As you can see, I get a little wobbly here. And then shake that out. We'll do one more balance and pose before we come down to the ground. So if you've been seated in a chair, you can do this seated in a chair as well. We're going to be doing tree pose. So we'll balance on one side of the body. You can also doing this sitting down, bringing your foot into the tree position on the ground as well. So if you're standing, we're going to lean into that one side. We're going to bring our foot onto our toes, the opposite foot, turning that heel towards that foot. And here we have a tree pose. Option now to lift your foot up onto your calf. Option to hold something. Bring your hands to heart center. Woo! Might be a little wobbly like me. Or raise your arms up towards the sky. Breathing here. And then we'll bring our hands down. Shake it out. And we'll do that same thing on the opposite side. So, coming onto our toes on one side, we have that stable leg. Turning that heel to face the opposite leg. And here we have our tree. We're in our tree position. Now an option to hold something or to bring your foot a little bit higher up onto your leg, onto your calf. Breathing here. Always have something nearby in case you need it. Maybe you notice one leg is more stable than another. And from here, we'll bring our hands to heart center and then up in the air. Breathing. And then we'll shake that out. So we're going to come down to the ground. Make sure you have a strap nearby. We'll be using that for a couple of things. I'm going to take this pillow and sit on it. It just lifts my hips up a little bit. It's comfortable to have my hips a little bit higher up off the ground. So that's totally optional for you. Let's just take a second to sit and notice what's going on for us in our bodies. We've done a little bit of movement. How did that feel? What's the temperature of your body like? What is your breath? Has your breath changed at all since we started this practice? We'll just do a little bit of a check-in and let our heartbeat slow down just a little bit. I'm gonna move these blocks out of the way. If you have a strap nearby, you're welcome to grab it. Start by just moving your arms a little bit again. I have the strap in both hands, pretty loose. Taking a breath. I'm going to raise my arms up towards the sky and then lower them. So just raising them and lowering them. You don't have to go all the way above your head. You could go about 3/4 if that feels good. Or if you want, you can go behind a little bit. But again, when you bring your strap behind you, it tends to be easier when you have your hands wider apart. So it increases your mobility. For me, if I have my hands here close together, that's not going to happen. There's no way. But if I open them up more, I'm able to get that mobility. So you could try that a couple times and then shake it out. Maybe you want to keep going with that if that felt good, or an option to try something, just a little exploration here, of how it feels when you engage your upper back muscles. So we're going to do the same thing, having the strap loose. We're going to do that same up and down motion, but this time think about engaging your shoulder blades, bringing them together, maybe sticking your chest out a little bit, and then raising up your arms and noticing how that feels. You're engaging your shoulder blades, thinking about them coming together, thinking about those muscles in your upper back. Does that change your range of motion? It does for me. When I'm loose, I can go up above my head. When I'm engaging my back and my shoulder muscles, I can't go up as far. So that's just a little exercise you can do to show the difference between when you're stretching out your muscles versus you're engaging your muscles and working on those muscles. From here, let's go into a seated tree. So bringing one leg out to the side, bringing the other foot in. And here, maybe you want to take your strap, place it around that foot, holding the strap in each hand and sitting tall. Notice where your strap is placed. It could be on the middle of your foot, it could be up more on like the ball of your foot, like just underneath your toes. Seeing how that feels. Finding the spot that works for you. I'm going to sit tall here and breathe for a second. And then we'll slowly let that go. We're going to put the strap down for a second. Here we'll raise our arms up towards the sky and turning our torso so we face over top of that leg. Folding forward, coming down, bringing the hands down to wherever feels good on your body, on your leg, maybe towards your toe. And notice what's happening in the back line of your body. So do you feel a stretch in your back? Do you feel a stretch maybe in the back line of your legs? Where do you feel this sensation? And we'll slowly come up to standing, not to standing, to a neutral spine. And we'll bring the foot back into the middle. Now we're sitting in a butterfly pose. Thinking about your knees coming down towards the ground. If it feels good, you could put blocks underneath your knees or pillows for extra support. That's an option. It's always available to you. I'm always sit here Let's think about our inhales and our exhales, and we'll slowly hinge forward, coming down to bring our hands down towards our feet, towards the ground, looking down and turning our head towards the ground, breathing here, noticing where you feel this stretch, this sensation. And then we'll slowly walk our hands back up to a neutral spine and take the other leg out to the side. Bringing the other foot in, coming in for that. We're going to do those same stretches on this side. So we're going to take the strap, placing it around our foot. And here, sitting with a tall spine, noticing where you feel sensation. And again, switching up the strap, noticing if that changes what you feel. If it's up more towards your toes or down more towards the middle of your foot. Just exploring here and figuring out what works. From here, we'll let go of this strap. We're going to raise our arms up towards the sky one more time and twist that torso and fold over top of this leg. So again, you're intending your hands in the direction of your feet. That doesn't mean it needs to touch your feet, just in that direction. And notice what sensations you feel here. Do you feel it in the back line of the leg? I feel it more in the side of my back. Maybe you do too. Notice if it feels different on this side than it did on the other side. Just doing that little exploration here. All the answers are right. And then we'll slowly come back up. Bring our feet together again in the middle for Badakanasana or butterfly pose. So here you could have the blocks or pillows underneath your knees. We're going to hinge forward at the hips. Maybe this time you want to raise your hands up and then hinge forward. Think about your hands being the last thing to come down. Coming down. Your hands can be on the ground. They could be on your feet. They could be on your legs. Whatever works for you here. Sometimes it's nice to bring your hands or your arms, elbows kind of to rest on your thighs. And that kind of pushes down on them a little bit. Might increase some of the sensation that you feel. Breathing. And then we're going to slowly bring ourselves back up. From here, you're welcome to move into a different position. I'm going to sit here in this butterfly pose as it's the most comfortable for me. It leaves me room for my belly. I'm going to bring these blocks underneath my feet or my knees for support. Maybe you want to sit cross-legged. Maybe you want to lie down on your back for a second. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes, noticing our breath. So throughout this practice, we've moved through various movements that focus on different parts of our bodies. How does our body feel now? Does it feel any different than when you started this practice? Do you notice any sensation or tingling anywhere? Or like you have any energy flowing anywhere throughout the body? Maybe you want to close your eyes here, soften your gaze. Just do a little check-in and notice if anything's changed for you, whether it be your breath or your body or your mind. Have your thoughts changed throughout this practice? Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. Just exploring what has happened to you over the last 30-ish minutes. Take a couple of breaths together, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. You're welcome to stay here in this comfortable position, resting. Noticing that breath, feeling the air as it comes in and out of your body. I want to thank everyone so much for participating in yoga through the holidays and doing these videos with me. Such a stressful time going on in the world right now, and it's nice to be able to take that time for yourself. So send yourself some gratitude for showing up for yourself, for taking some time for you, doing a little bit of self-care. Thank you. I want to send gratitude to everyone for practicing. And I also want to send some gratitude to the leaders and lineage of yoga that came before, my teachers, their teachers, and any other teacher whose knowledge and practice contributed to us being able to have this practice here together. Thank you so much.